Today on The Local Traveler, we're going to learn about a food that is over 4,000 years old, but is brand new to the state of Kentucky. You know, I love a good cheese, but today, I might feel a little sheepish about it.
I am the Good Shepherd, and I know my sheep and am known by my own. As the Father knows me, even so, I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. That Bible verse has special meaning for the Dotson family. After feeling divinely led in a new direction, they decided on a completely different career path: sheep's milk cheese. With a leap of faith, they quit their jobs, moved into the country, and started raising and milking sheep, not letting the fact that they had little to no experience detour them. The fruit of their labor has yielded the very first sheep dairy in Kentucky, and now they are joyfully spreading the good news.
I'm here with Colleen Dotson, and you and your husband have Good Shepherd Dairy Farm, and you make wonderful sheep milk cheese.
Thank you. Yes, I think so too.
Well, tell me a little bit about the journey to get here. I know there was a spiritual stirring, I read.
Yes. My husband and I both were feeling led, a stirring, feeling moved without actually speaking the words at the time. And then finally, when one of us did speak it to the other, we were in mutual agreement. We both were feeling the same way. And that's why we knew in our hearts that it was God. It wasn't us. It was God speaking to us. And
yeah, you got that confirmation from having it happen kind of independently.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, and I know this was kind of a leap of faith, really, because it's not like you had a tremendous amount of experience in milking and making cheese and things, and your husband was actually in the automobile industry.
Absolutely.
So how did that even come about? I mean, I know there was the spiritual stirring, and then you just said, we're going to take this leap of faith?
After a lot of prayer, we felt like farming was the simpler way of life. We felt like God was wanting to teach us to be shepherds, and to do that we needed sheep. And as my husband has told people, we don't have sheep to make cheese, we make cheese to be able to have our sheep.
Well, tell me a little bit about the milking process. They're coming in groupings.
Right. We bring them in groups of 12 because we have 12 head gates. We drop a little bit of grain in each bucket for them. That kind of entices them and gives them a treat as they're being milked. So that usually satisfies them. We prepare their udders, clean them, and do the actual milking. And then we prepare their udders to go back out. And once those 12 go out, we'll bring another 12 in until we've completed all of the sheep.
Well, I know in addition to the canines, you have some human members of your family.
Yes.
And they help you out too. Tell me about that.
Our oldest son, Joshua, and his wife, Gina, and our little grandbaby, Leland, they live here on the farm. They are part owners in the farm. Our daughter, Jennifer, she drives out to the farm 6 days a week to help us with our work, and she also does the sheep milk soap. We have a son, Adam, that lives in Lexington. Doesn't get to participate in the work, but likes to come out to visit.
Oh, sure. I can see this is a relaxing place to be.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited to get in there and milk some sheep and learn how to make cheese.
Great.
The Dotson Sheep Farm is located right on the edge of the Appalachian Mountains in Bath County, Kentucky. With 132 rolling acres, it is the perfect home for their flock of East Frisian sheep. The farmland is loaded with all kinds of natural flora, like Kentucky native grasses, clover, and wildflowers, which impart a completely Eastern Kentucky taste to the milk of this German breed of sheep. Although the farm day is long and the work is hard, there is still a lot of good old-fashioned family fun on the farm. After spending the day here, it is evident that this family has found their calling.
So I'm here with Sanford Dotson, and you are the artisan cheesemaker at Good Shepherd Cheese.
Right.
But you're first and foremost a shepherd.
Right, we're shepherds first. we kind of backed into this local food movement. We make cheese so that we can have sheep and be shepherds. So that's kind of how we got into the dairy side of it.
Sure. Well, tell me a little bit about the Basque technique that you're doing here with your cheeses.
Well, we try to do as much of a traditional cheese as we can. In the Basque region of France, they're isolated by the Pyrenees Mountains, and so their culture kind of stayed the same. They're not French or Spanish, they're Basque. And they would like to be their own country, I think, if they could. But being from Eastern Kentucky, my wife and I really felt a kinship because we came from an isolated area and we know how traditions are handed down from generation to generation. And this cheese is a 4,000-year-old recipe that was actually made up in the Pyrenees Mountains when they would take the sheep up into the mountains in the summer, and the shepherds lived in the little huts and made the cheese there and sent it down to the townships.
Tell me a little bit just about the process. I know that it starts with milking. You milk
Right.
them here.
We milk them daily. We save the milk until we have enough. Usually it takes 2 to 3 days to have enough to make cheese. Then the first thing we do is we warm it back up to 90 degrees, just like it was when it came out of the mama. And we add bacteria cultures, and then we add rennet, which is from the fourth stomach of a ruminant, and that's what coagulates the milk into curds. And then once we have the solid curd there, we'll take our curd harps and cut it into little small squares, and that will let the whey start to leak out. And then we have our little Miss Muffet curds and whey. And that's basically what the process of cheese making is you're trying to separate the liquid from the solids, and we keep the solids and put it into molds and form it into cheese and dip it into a little bit of salt water for a few hours and put it in our aging cave, and in a few months it turns into wonderful cheese.
I was just impressed with the science. Like, you can set your watch to when things are going to happen, and you've got a clipboard, and you've kind of got it, you've really got it down to a science.
Right, and even inside the cheese cave, you can actually adjust the humidity to cause different molds to grow or different molds to die back, and you can kind of play with it because we do a natural rind, and we can get some different colors going there to really give us that real rustic farmstead look on our cheese. And that's what we're going for. We just want a nice natural cheese that the rind on it is what we call nature's packaging. And
Right.
if you're walking down the street in one of the little villages in France, it's the kind of cheese you would see in some of the farm markets just stacked up as wheels there on the street side. And that's how we sell it to our customers.
Well, great. Let's go in and make some cheese. I'm ready.
That sounds great.
There is a peaceful satisfaction that comes with the role of shepherd. But the Dotsons' job duties do not end with raising and milking sheep. There is also cheese to be made. Coming up next, we get to roll up our sleeves and get a little cheesy. What an enjoyable time we've had here with the Dotsons on their family farm in Bath County, Kentucky. We've seen firsthand the rich blessings of being a shepherd. But raising and milking sheep is just part of their calling. They also make cheese, artisan cheese. Good Shepherd cheese is made from sheep who live naturally on the farm, eating from lush green pastures. Their fresh milk is turned into a farmstead cheese using a handmade, traditional technique from France. The cheese is made 2 to 3 times per week, which yields 35-gallon batches of heavenly cheese.
Okay, now tell me what's happening here with this process. Obviously, we're extracting more of the whey.
Right, and getting any of that excess whey that maybe had trouble getting out. That'll keep us from having moisture spots in the cheese,
Okay.
causing it to crack open when it's in the cheese cave. And plus we're trying to make it fall into the shape of the mold there.
Okay. Making sure I'm not messing anything up for you.
How much are you charging me an hour for the labor?
Well, one wheel of cheese.
Ah,
Yep, this is the local traveler batch right here. I have a feeling this one's gonna be not real pretty. It's like one, a big meatball.
we can set a bowl of water on top.
Okay. And you were saying the bowls are warm because it helps kind of keep it pliable?
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes has passed, then you switch it over, you trim the edges.
Right.
And now it's time for them to get their numbers.
We put batch numbers on every batch that we make because in the cheese cave, after a while, they all start to look alike.
Sure.
And if we have a problem in the cheese cave, we can look at the batch number and go back and see if maybe there was anything went wrong in the make process.
Okay.
Good Shepherd cheese promises that you will taste the tradition in their finely crafted cheeses. Their old world style of cheesemaking is steeped in rich history, dating back to more than 4,000 years from shepherds in the Pyrenees Mountains of Basque, France. The townspeople and shepherds loved this style of creamy traditional sheep cheese, and it soon became known as the farmer's dessert, since it was regularly served with black cherry jam. Today, Pyrenees sheep cheeses are regarded among the best cheeses in the world, and now Appalachia can have its very own farmer's dessert.
Okay, Sanford, so we're in the aging kind of warehouse here.
Cheese cave.
The cheese cave. And you were saying that in France, this actually has a title, the person that does this job.
Yes, aging cheese is called affinage, and the person who does it is an affineur, and we don't have those words in the English language. An affineur is someone who cares for cheese or ages cheese.
Well, maybe I could get a job here doing this.
Well, we'll give you a try.
You'll have to teach me how to do it, yeah.
The first thing we do is we just kind of look at the cheese and see what kind of condition it's in. You can see there's a little bit of blue mold trying to grow on there. Mm-hmm. And what we're aiming for is to wash the cheese in a real light brine solution, and we're trying to get rid of the blues and the blacks, or at least keep them from growing too much, and let the whites and the yellows, those are good molds for our particular cheese. And sometimes we'll see a little bit of the pinks or the oranges with the mold that we call B linens, and that will impart a little bit of flavor into the cheese. If you use a lot of B linens, like some people will put it into their wash, you get some stinky cheeses like Limburger and Munster and some of those.
Right.
But we just simply take this brine solution.
And that the solution is salt, pretty much? And
Just a saltwater solution
Okay.
that we actually let the cheese sit in for about 30 hours when we first make it. And
Okay.
we'll take that and we'll dilute it with water just to give us a real light brine. It's about
Sure.
a 5% to 10% brine solution. And we'll just give it a nice little rub down and clean behind its ears and everything.
You're really a bather.
Yes,
You're a cheese bather.
but that's all we do. And every time that we clean the cheese, we turn it.
Okay.
And that way it will age equally on both sides, and then both sides are exposed to air, and all the moisture doesn't go to one side of the cheese. We keep flipping it every couple of days.
Good Shepherd cheese offers several varieties of cheese, such as Old Smoky, which is their Pyrenees-style cheese infused with bourbon-smoked peppercorns, or the Wild Mountain Thyme, which incorporates a French country blend of delicious herbs like rosemary, thyme, and lavender. These cute and cuddly East Frisian sheep are also milked to make a new line of natural sheep milk soaps. Sheep milk has natural exfoliating properties and provides vitamins that are good for the skin.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, is another Bible verse very close to the hearts of the Dotson family. And after trying their heavenly cheese, I shall not want for anything else either.